key to it. I know our man Lil Wayne texted me. He's taking his son to the game tonight because he can't wait for this, because this is show time.
Yeah.
This could be as big or bigger showtime than Magic Showtime. This is must-see TV.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to knock it in the regular season, except for one X factor. And that is that guy who's not playing for the Clippers right now. So my dream scenario here is that Kawhi Leonard, and I'm told, high-placed sources, very close sources, that he has a really good chance of being ready by March.
Okay.
If he's ready by March, and you never know because these things are tricky, and you just got to wait it out.
Right.
And again, his nature, to your point, is not one to push. But he's also, once he crosses that 30 line, where he goes into his 30s, he knows that the clock is ticking.
Right.
So I think he's going to push harder than usual to come back.
Okay.
If he can be ready for the playoffs, and the Clippers could just eke in, as maybe they have to play in. I don't know, but let's say they wind up the 8th seed. This would be my dream scenario.
Right.
If the Lakers do win the West and they're the 1 seed,
Or the 1-8.
and we get a little 1-8 in the first round, my dream scenario would be that the Clippers would shock the Lakers, because it would be no real upset, because the Clippers are really good if they have their guy.
Right.
And if he's right and he's back and he's what he was against Dallas and Utah last year before he got hurt, you would be in big trouble. And I believe that the chemical imbalance in the Lakers won't really manifest itself until the postseason. So my prediction is that the Lakers will have the best record in the West and lose in the first round, because that's when it will all fall apart. That's when it will all go haywire.
Well, Skip, I think the thing is, I think they'll struggle early with chemistry issues, and once they get to the postseason, everything will fall into place because they would have played together for such a long period of time. I think early on you're going to have that's when you're going to see the roughness, the rough draft of this team, because they haven't played together. And Russ is like you said, Russ is we know what he is as an individual commodity. But what we don't know is that when he's playing with two other superstars, how does he blend that? Because he's never had to do that. Like I said, Russ has always been one or two. He's always been the first or second option. Okay. Playing with KD, playing with James Harden, playing with Bradley Beal. Now he goes from 2 to 3, and now he's the third best player. Now, so the question is he going to be accepting of that role? Because you know what happens. You start, and he doesn't strike me as a guy that lets this bother him, but Russ doesn't look the same. He's only averaging 17 points. He's only averaging 6 rebounds. He's only averaging 8 assists. I mean, I remember when he triple-double the last 4 or 5 years, then all of a sudden, man, screw this. I need to get these triple-doubles. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Like I said, if he was anywhere else with 2 superstars, I was like, Skip, I don't believe this is going to work. But with LeBron, I believe LeBron will take a step back somewhat and says, okay, guys, this is what we need to do. They had to have had this conversation, Skip. You don't sign off on something like this without having a conversation before Rob Pelinka pulls the trigger. Like, okay, how much are we going to be willing to sacrifice to reach our ultimate destination, which is an NBA championship? All
right, so my favorite quote of last night, my LOL quote of the night, came from your man Frankie V, as in Frank Vogel, the head coach, quote unquote, of the Lakers, because we know who the real head coach is.
Frankie V.
Frankie V says of Russ, he's still playing the way he always does. We ask him to be effective and aggressive without the basketball. When Bron has it, when AD has it, every bit as much as we're asking him to do it with the basketball. Okay, that sounds great on, what do we say it was, October 19th? Okay, so that was on October 18th. It sounds great on October 18th. I am not buying it going forward, because I'm going to restate my position after Russ's doc dropped last Friday night. Passion play, Russell Westbrook. He even has a documentary about his life and times as he finally comes home to Los Angeles as the only Laker who's from the area, who grew up a diehard Laker fan. And he's been handed the keys to the kingdom by the king to take over as the Laker point guard, which he believes he was born to be.
Right.
What is Russell Westbrook at heart? Old dog, new tricks? No, can't teach the old dog new tricks, and he's got a lot of dog in him. But it is solo dog. He is nothing but a solo act, and it is a sensational, can't miss, must-see TV solo act. But he is nothing but an all-time great stat machine, driven to TD, triple-double. He's all about TDs, and I believe he's still all about TDs on the biggest stage he's ever been on, and I'm sorry, it will not work, will not fit with LeBron. It will drive LeBron out of his mind.
I think the thing what Frankie V is asking is that for a lot of times when guys like that are so used to having the ball, we would see him when Bradley Beal had the ball, or we see him when James Harden have the ball, he goes stand in the corner. No, we're going to need you to dive to the basket. We're going to try to get you to get some easy baskets like that. We can't have them playing 5-on-4 because you're standing in the corner. And I think Russ understands that. I can get some cheap, while they got their back turned, I can sneak to the rim and, get me a couple of layups.
Okay.
They're going to have to make play 5-on-5 always. And Russ understands that he's going to be asked to do some things that he hasn't been asked to do in the past. And I believe he's more than willing because he understands. Because you said he'll never win a championship without that 7-foot guy that's currently in Brooklyn. And he wants to show you and a lot of other people, just for himself, he knows that his resume is incomplete without that championship, and he has a great opportunity to go and get it, and I believe it happens.
So I'm going to restate my position on Russell Westbrook as in brick, because he is simply, and I believe you'll even agree with this, he is the worst superstar jump shooter we have ever seen. Just as a pure jump shooter from 3 or even from 2.
Yeah.
He is a liability. He can be a liability on defense. So if LeBron down the stretch of game says, Russ, I got this, and he wants to dribble the ball up and initiate and quarterback, which he should, do you keep Russ on the floor? Because his man is going to lay back in the lane and say, LeBron and AD, I'm in here too.
Right.
I'm going to bother you in this lane. You're going to, because LeBron, what does he do best? He kicks it to three-point shooters. We can't kick it to Russ and depend on him to make threes.
Hey, kick it to him. Russ will make those shots in the big moment.
Really?
I trust him.
Okay, well, he's never been trustable before. Is it all going to change now?
Different place, different location.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so my theory from the start, I restate this position as we go into the first night of regular season, is that LeBron is the shrewdest operator in the NBA. If he can pull this off with Russell Westbrook, it elevates him, I think, just into the GOAT conversation. You think he is the GOAT. I say phony GOAT. But even I, from this side of the table, will at least elevate LeBron into the conversation with Michael Jeffrey Jordan if he could pull this off this year with Russell Westbrook as his point guard, because I think it's impossible to pull it off. But I also believe that LeBron is shrewd enough as an operator to know if it doesn't work, the ultimate scapegoat for the quote-unquote GOAT would be Russell Westbrook, because everybody's going to turn their sights to Russell because he's never been able to do it before, and he did get rejected by Kevin and by Paul George and by James Harden. So
And Kawhi.
And Kawhi. Kawhi just dumped on him. Kawhi just did him dirty.
He did.
He did.
But you said something. You said if they were to win the championship. You mean when they win the championship.
Well, that's what you say.
That's what's going to happen.
Which brings me to my pick. It's just going to be Kevin Durant's year. I believe with or without Kyrie, and I'm actually to the point I am hoping there is no Kyrie, because then we can see Kevin Durant in all his glory. What he did for the Olympic team last summer was extraordinary, and I don't think he got enough credit. There's no way they're going to win without him. Right. Because every time they got in trouble, they just said, here, you do it.
Oh, no, they're not going to win without him, Skip. And I think the thing is that now there's only two. There's not the sacrifices that they were going to have to make between the three of them. So I can legitimately see Kevin Durant averaging 31, 32 points a game, James Harden averaging 26, 27 a game.
Well, and maybe 12 assists.
Right, and that's the thing, Skip, because KD doesn't need the ball. It ain't like KD got to, you isolate him. KD can catch and shoot. He can put the ball on the floor, get to the mid-range, get all the way to the hoop. You foul him, he's going to make 88, 90% of his free throws. So he going to get his buckets. James Harden is not quite as efficient as Kevin Durant, but now the question is, Skip, now you know this year there's the emphasis. All that jumping into and all that other stuff. Okay, we've seen a lot of guys. We saw Steph, we saw Harden, we saw a lot of guys like, hold on. Y'all not calling that this year? They're like, play on, bro.
Okay,
play on.
But KD does not need that
don't need it.
move.
KD go get his somewhere between 28 and 32 like he always has.
Okay, well, I say KD's going to get another MVP this year because it's setting up for that. And I say James will lead the league in assists because he readily accepted that point guard role that Kyrie handed to him.
Yeah, well, he was a better pure point guard than Kyrie.
He was.
Kyrie was a two masquerading.
And listen, Sean Marks is starting to become the new R.C. Buford, and he was the protege, obviously, of R.C. in San Antonio. But Sean Marks, he was extraordinary in the offseason, just like Kevin was, because when I look at this roster with no Kyrie, and they added Patty Mills. You love that
I like
move.
Mills. I like Millsap.
Millsap.
LaMarcus.
And LaMarcus came back, and James Johnson is just an enforcer. He's just a tough guy who knows how to play.
But you know what, Skip? You said he came out of the R.C. Buford tree. R.C. Buford's job was made so much easier when you have the greatest power forward. So Skip, you just build around that.
Okay, I got it. But they said no to DeAndre Jordan in place of Nicholas Claxton, who I loved last year at 6'11". And then they brought back Bruce Brown and Blake, obviously, and Joe Harris is still there shooting it. And listen, Cam Thomas, they stole him in the draft. He was a 27th overall pick, and all he was the MVP of the Summer League.
He looked good.
6'5", he could just shoot the lights out of LSU, and he averaged 11 in preseason. Well, you don't think he'll help a little bit here in the Kyrie role? So you're going to miss Kyrie's clutch shooting because he is clutch. But Kevin, I don't know. He made the clutchest, one of the clutchest shots I've ever seen. By the way, could we just see that?
No, we don't, Skip.
We got to see that one last time, because this would have won the championship.
But it didn't.
It's like his toenail, his little toenail is on the line, and they said no.
I need y'all to,
That would have ended your Giannis Bucks last year. That was the end of them.
Hey, Twitter, I need y'all